What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to the Left Metal. It's time for a long overdue rock metal update. That's right, I have a rock metal update. I apologize. I've had many emails and PMs asking me if everything's okay because I really haven't been doing any videos for the last couple weeks. Just been super busy with between my regular day job and the No Life Till Metal graphics and label. We've just been rocks and retroactive. There's just been so much going on that I've just literally been getting home from work, getting on my computer and working until I go to bed at night. So. Excuses, right? But anyhow, I have purchased several albums over the last couple months since I've done my last full rock metal update. Matter of fact, there's way more here than I'm going to show in this one video. I'm just going to keep this one to all thrash metal. So this is going to be a thrash metal rock metal update video, and thrash metal rock and metal update video. This is going to be a thrash metal update. Let's shorten that a little bit. And yeah, I've got quite a bit to show you, so I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to start off with a brand new release for 2016. This is the brand new album from Accuser, The Mastery, and as with every Accuser album over the last few years, it's just been on my turntable over and over again. I really like Accuser. I'm sure you guys have seen me show their stuff before, and they rank to me up there with the best of the German thrash metal bands. So this new album is no exception. It's on Metal Blade Records, so it's not hard to get. In the US, apparently there was only 200 copies pressed on vinyl. This is number 47 of 200. It's on a pastel, like pinkish tan colored vinyl, which, you know, like I said before, I don't really care that much about vinyl colors, but it's a little unusual for thrash metal, but hey, why not? And yeah, it's a great album. 10 songs. They didn't overstay their welcome. Just beat you over the head with a baseball bat, wall of sound, memorable riffs, memorable hooks, you know, all the things that I'm looking for. You know, there's got to be a balance in thrash metal. It's just not speed. It's just not chugging. You know, you want the machine gun riffing and the double bass and all the things that you look for, you know, the heavy riffs in thrash. But if there's not something memorable about it, if there's not some melody to it, if there's not some hooks, you know, it's forgettable. You end up listening to it once and putting it away, and that's not the case with the new Accuser. This thing just annihilates, and I can't imagine this one will make my top 20 for this year already. Speaking of that, actually I'm going to skip through and find the next one, since I was showing new releases, and one that might make a list. This is the brand new Deliverance. This is the Subversive Kind. This actually is released on Roxx Records in conjunction with Three Frogs Studios, and yeah, this is another one. I have this on CD and vinyl, and this CD has not left my car for weeks on end. I just really like it. 8 songs. Again, the band didn't overstay their welcome. The songs are short, fast, heavy, and I think they're memorable. The song "The Black Hand," there's a lyric video on YouTube for it. It's still a fast song, but it's not quite as fast as some of the other songs. I just think it's a very good song. You know, it's to the point. It's got great guitar solos. You got the return of Glenn Rogers on lead guitar, but also guest guitar solos from Greg Minier of The Crucified and Minier and Applehead fame, and original member Jimmy Brown. He sings here, but he's not really doing the David Bowie thing. You know, that he's got a little more grit and grind. Of course, he's not, you know, a teenager anymore like he did on the first Deliverance record. So he's got a little more maturity to his voice, if that's the right word. But he's using a little more grit and a little more aggressiveness to the voice, kind of like the very first Deliverance demo. But anyhow, I have shown this before in a Roxx update or a No Life Till Metal update, so I won't yammer on about this one forever. But I really do think it's a great record, and it will definitely make my top list for 2016. This happens to be the red vinyl version. There's also a green vinyl version that was released to those who supported the band on their crowdfunder, and black, of course, and a CD. The next 1, 2, 3, 4 are all from the same band. I've just been picking up these reissues as they're coming out, just because I know they're going to disappear as fast as they come out. And these are all, some of these are Grail records for me, you know, like this one here. This is Testament, and I just think this album is awesome. I've always loved this album. It's got a incredible lineup, incredible songs. They actually did a live EP to go along with this album, which I still want on vinyl. But yeah, if you saw my Grail video from around a year ago from now, I did like top 20 metal Grails I want, and this was one of them. And so yeah, it's awesome to finally have the Ritual as part of my collection. And let's see what we got here. So 11 songs, but Electric Crown, So Many Lies, Signs of Chaos, Return to Serenity. This is a great album, front to back. Again, it's on colored vinyl. It seems like everything's on colored vinyl anymore, and black vinyl seems to be the scarcity now. Back in the 70s and 80s, it was the colored vinyl that, you know, was the special thing. Now it seems to be, to get a black vinyl one, you know, it's less common. So again, Metal Blade Records put this out, 180 gram vinyl, looks fantastic, sounds fantastic, has an insert, and there's just nothing to complain about here. It sounds really, really good. So glad to have this one, as well as I think this is the first time it's been on vinyl in the U.S. This is Low. I think there might have been some like minor reissues in Europe, but not here in U.S. So Low, another heavy record, produced by Michael Wagner. This was Testament when they were, you know, it was their first wave of Testament, you know, before they kind of disappeared for a while and came back. But what we got here, it's on a translucent orangish yellow vinyl. Again, if I didn't say, it's on Metal Blade. It does have the insert, but you've got James Murphy on guitar here. Of course, James has been in a lot of bands, but he's just a total shredder. He's got a few solo albums out that I also own. Obituary, I believe, was his most well-known band, if not Testament, and just really cool to have this one finally on vinyl. If you're a Testament fan, as I am, then you're gonna probably want to grab these because they're not going to be around forever, and this thing doesn't want to go back in. I don't know why. I'll deal with it later. But Testament Low. I can't remember the original year on this one. It was like maybe it was 2000s, early 2000s when this one came out. No, it couldn't have been. It had to be. I don't know. I can't see the year on. The year on here is 2016. Obviously, it's not that. I think it was more like the early 90s, around 94 maybe. Anyhow, Testament Low, Metal Blade Records, 180 gram vinyl. Definitely a great pickup. Testament, The Gathering. This is just brand new released. Again, I know it's the first time it's been released on vinyl in the U.S. This is on Nuclear Blast Records. I pre-ordered this one a long time ago, actually before I ordered these ones, and it finally just came in last week. Pressed on yellow vinyl. It says limited to 1,000. Now I don't know if it's 1,000 yellow vinyl or 1,000 vinyl total. You know, sometimes they don't, not really clear on that. I can tell you on the labels that I work for, if they say they press 300 or 500, they press that many. That's it. Doesn't matter what colors there are. There's a total of that many records. I can't tell you with Nuclear Blast if they've pressed 1,000 just to yellow vinyl or 1,000 total. My guess would be 1,000 would be the total, but this is kind of a forgotten gem in the Testament catalog. But this is a very, very good album from them. I really don't think Testament ever put out a bad album. But you got, again, James Murphy on guitar, Dave Lombardo from Slayer fame on drums, Chuck Billy and Eric Peterson, the two original members of Testament in here. And then you got Steve DiGiorgio on bass, who of course has played with a ton of different bands. But his main or first band was Sadus, and the guy's been in a ton of bands since then. Iced Earth, Death. He's been in a bunch of different bands, so super glad to have this one on vinyl. This is a different cover than the original cover. I should have grabbed the CD to show you the original cover. It's got a similar vibe, but regardless, Testament, The Gathering, 2018 re-release on Nuclear Blast Records. This one I've actually had for several months now. I just haven't shown it yet. I picked this one up on the CD, cassette, and vinyl Asylum on Facebook. Actually picked it up off of Rob Caldwell. He was selling his copy, so you can see actually the sticker still on the back of it from him. Number 52 of 250 pressed, released on 180 gram clear vinyl, including a poster, 2 LP set, live testaments. This is the Paramount Theater, February 15th, 2013. This is a fantastic live record. I have literally listened to this thing 5, 6, 7 times since receiving it, and it never disappoints. There is quite a bit of new material on here. Songs like Rise Up, Native Blood, Burnt Offerings, True American Hate, Dark Roots of Earth. I mean, those are all newer songs. But there is some classic stuff on here too, you know, songs like Into the Pit, Trial by Fire, In New Order, Disciples of the Watch, Over the Wall, those kind of things are on here too. So it's a nice mix of styles. The band is tight. Of course, we got the return of what's his name, Alex Skolnick, had to remember the name, on guitar. Alex sounds fantastic, as he always has. He's just a great guitar player. Eric Peterson, Chuck Billy, original bass player Greg Christensen is still with the band here, and on drums you get Dark Angel drummer Gene Hoglan, who has also played with numerous other bands as well. But yeah, he's been with Testament and Dark Angel and Death, and he's been with a bunch of different bands. So fantastic live album. If you're into live albums, it's recorded well. The band is tight and they sound great. So there you go. All right, I got a couple more to show here, but I'm going to take a 5-second break because my nose is running. Okay, we left off with Testament. Next up, this is an old band coming back and making a new record with some new members, but this is Hex. And excuse me, I showed the CD as part of my top albums of 2017. This is a great album from them. Now, to call it thrash metal is probably a bit of a stretch. It's more like US American power metal. Excuse me. Kind of a mix of their first 2 albums. Their first album was a straightforward American heavy metal. The second album moved into more straightforward thrash metal. This could have actually fit between the two. It kind of has that vibe to it. I've listened to this thing over and over and over again since their CD came in the mail 6 months ago. Finally managed to score a copy on vinyl. It was not released in the US on vinyl. It was only released in Europe on High Roller Records. But yeah, if you're into that, you know, US power metal style, you know, Metal Church is the prime example, you know, early Metal Church, where it kind of walks that fine line between straightforward heavy metal and speed metal and thrash. Hex are right in that area. Just a great album from them. Chugging riffs, great vocals. And if anybody knows this band, they actually, you know, their first album was metal, their second album was thrash. They had several EPs that were kind of more along the lines of thrash. As they progressed along, they got heavier and heavier to the point where they finally put out a death metal album, which is another album that I would like to add to my collection one of these days on vinyl. And this is just a return to style, return to form, and a reunion record of sorts. So anyhow, very good record. I won't yammer on about it forever because, like I said, I did show it as part of my 2017 top 20 or whatever it was that I did, and I'll try to remember to put up a link to that video above my head up there. War on Music, repressing of the very first Canadian Razor album, Armed and Dangerous. Always liked the simplistic vibe of the cover art. You've got basically a flying V guitar with the guitar player playing his guitar with a razor blade, black and white. It just works. You know, sometimes it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be even well executed to be a good cover. And I've always liked this cover. So some people call this an EP. What we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs. To me, that's a full-length album. This is early Razor though, so they got heavier, more refined, like as a thrash metal band as time went on, and I love that stuff. But this stuff was more inspired by the likes of Motorhead, and I especially hear a lot of Raven in here. It's got that kind of new wave of British heavy metal vibe. You definitely can hear the Raven in here, and I guess you can hear the Motorhead as well. You know, it's got that very early thrash metal style. This is some early stuff. I believe this is like 1983. I don't see the year on here anywhere. Yeah, I don't see the year on here, but I'm pretty sure it was 1983. And I mean, that's early. That's the same year that you know, Kill 'Em All came out, and thrash metal was just beginning to break out of the underground and getting into onto labels, even if it was, you know, independent labels. Razor were right up there with all those guys, and they just didn't have the notoriety that a lot of those bands had. So, very good record, War on Music Records, which is out of Canada. I actually picked this one up off a guy on the CD vinyl cassette trade on Facebook and Asylum on Facebook. I can't remember what I paid for. It doesn't matter. I just know getting it from Canada, it was going to cost me like almost double because of the shipping. So I was glad that I finally was able to get it from a U.S. seller. So Razor, Armed and Dangerous. A couple more reissues here. These are great because this one was only ever released on a very minor underground record company before, as far as I know of, I think it was out of Europe. I can't remember what record company it was on. It doesn't matter. It's finally been released again. This was, as I understand, it was really only available if you got part of the campaign to release these records. Cast in Stone Entertainment out of Germany is the name of the company. Everything actually on here is German. You can actually see that there's the writing in the back on German, and where it says that it was licensed from Warner Brothers Records. But yeah, it's very well done. It sounds good. Very simplistic. Everything looks nice. First of all, it's on an uncoated stock that's got a bit of texture to it, which is kind of nice. Not something you see often anymore. The graphics are nice. It looks, this has never been a real sharp cover to begin with, so blowing it up from probably the CDR, it looks pretty good. It's not all, fuzzy, pixelated looking like some records. The record itself is just black vinyl, simplistic center rings, just black on white, basically an Overkill logo and the name of the record company, and that's it. Side A, side B. There is some inserts. The inserts are black and white also. Excuse me. And all they are is the lyric sheet. So there's not much to it, but regardless, I'm glad to have this one on vinyl. They obviously mastered it as well, because my one thing about WFO was I always thought that Dee Dee's bass was a little bit high in the mix, or I don't know if it's high or just stuck out. He's got that kind of clanky bass, which is his sound, his style. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I love his style. I love Overkill, but it just seemed to like stick out above all the other instruments, and it was, to me, it was a little bit of annoyance. Although I love the songs on here. Where It Hurts, Fast Junkie. What else is on here? Supersonic Hate. Bastard Nation, Gasoline Dreams. I mean, a lot of these songs have been played live, and they're just fantastic songs. But for some reason on the vinyl, that the overbearing bass guitar seems to be toned down a slight bit. You can still hear the bass, and of course it wouldn't be Overkill if you couldn't. It would be kind of like Motorhead without hearing Lemmy's bass. The same thing with Overkill and Dee Dee, but it's just not overbearing like it was on the original CD release that I still own. So I'm glad to have that one on vinyl, as well as what many call the only sellout record in Overkill's catalog. This is I Hear Black. This was originally released on Atlantic Records. A lot of people thought it was, I don't know why we'd call it a sellout, but because it wasn't. It still sounds like Overkill. Yeah, there's some slower songs on here, but it's still heavy. It's got a bit of groove. It's got a bit of thrash. It's a little mixture of everything. It was around that time where the Black Album came out. And everybody was going for a more commercial sound. Megadeth went for a little more commercial sound. I can't think Slayer didn't, but even Anthrax did. Sound of White Noise, which was a big different sound for them. And Overkill, to me, this still sounds like Overkill. Yeah, it's a little slower, but that's about it. Unusual cover. I always thought the black, which I'm assuming are just deer antlers with the little demons in the background, was always kind of cool. The orange and black, different color scheme for them, since their color scheme has always kind of been that lime green color. But a great record from Overkill nonetheless. Again, a lot of stuff on here that you would hear live even to this day. I Hear Black, Feed My Head, Shades of Grey, what else? Undying, Just Like You. So, produced by Alex Perry Ellis, who produced a ton of records. First one that comes to mind is Testament. So, Overkill, I Hear Black. Great record. Glad to finally have it on vinyl. Again, the center rings are the same as the other one, just plain white with black ink on them, and the inserts are the same way. So, I got two more for this update I'm going to show. This is, I can't remember the name of the record company this is on. Dementia Records from the Czech Republic, but this is new wave of thrash metal band Vindicator. In my opinion, these guys should be up there and known like bands like Vector and Havoc and all those bands that are out there, touring the country right now with bigger name old school bands. The Vindicator were just great band, and they had great music. They were a genuine thrash band. They weren't trying to sound like Exodus, like a lot of bands were, Bonded by Blood. And regardless, Vic Stone, Jesse Stone, the two main characters here. And I believe this is the only one that's ever been released on vinyl. And this is their first album, There Will Be Blood. I have a CD pressing too of this album. I didn't even know this vinyl pressing existed until I was cruising through the War on Music website and saw that they had it. I actually ended up ordering it from them because I ordered something else, and I figured if I'm going to order one thing and pay for shipping, I might as well get two things and break up the shipping between a couple records. So I grabbed this Vindicator from them. Cover art's pretty similar to the original. I mean, it's the same art. I'm pretty sure this was blown up from the CD. I probably would have sharpened it up a little bit and taken some of the yellow out and brought out the color and the blood and but whatever. I mean, I'm just being picky because that's what I do for a living. But like the old school look of the back with the picture of the band. Actually opened up for these guys one time. We did a show, Ultimatum, played with them, and nice guys. We helped them set up their stuff, carry their stuff onto the stage, and that's just something we always did. We always helped other bands out. So again, pretty simplistic inserts and center rings. So you got your classic 80s compilation, or what do you call these things? Collage of photos, lyrics. Pretty simple. Red and black center rings. Sounds good. I don't know that it was remastered to any great extent. I'm sure they had to have it remastered at least for vinyl because vinyl requires a slightly different sound than CD does. So I'm actually hoping that my own label will be able to release some Vindicator in the future. I've already actually talked to Vic and he's up for it, so I'm kind of hoping that'll happen. We'll see. They definitely deserve to be on vinyl. I mean, it's just that kind of music that needs to be on vinyl. Sorry I keep scratching my nose, but my allergies drive me up a wall today. So last one I'm going to show for today, Sodom M16, probably my favorite Sodom album. A lot of their albums have been getting reissues, and it's nice. I'm kind of hoping Cold Red gets one, and if it not already has, I would really like to get it, because M16 and Cold Red are two of my favorites. When a lot of bands were, thrash bands were changing their sound, these guys were getting heavier and refining their sound. They were still a thrash band, and you gotta love those two records. They just have that thrash sound. They are brilliant, in my opinion. Memorable songs too. Songs like Among the Weird Calm, I Love the Smell of Napalm in the Morning. It's just great stuff. I Am the War, Genocide, Little Boy. It's a good album. And although I haven't been keeping up with all the Sodom reissues because I just can't keep up with everything, I had to grab this one when it came out. So M16, it is a gatefold, which I will take out and show you real quickly. Obviously, war themes. There's the some band photos for the center fold, and if I'm not mistaken, this is on like a kind of a marbly yellow and got some red and black in it. I don't care that much about the color of the vinyl. Kind of works well with the cover on this particular one, so that's kind of nice. But if I would have found the black vinyl one, I probably would have purchased it. It's funny that black vinyls become less popular, and the colored vinyls is what everybody wants these days. But regardless, so there you go. That's my rock metal update. And I believe, what are we in now? End of February now. February 2018, and I will be doing another one of these shortly. I'm going to show some classic metal stuff in that video, stuff that's not reissues, original pressings, and that's it. Appreciate y'all watching once again. I will also be doing a No Life Till Metal update because I'm working on a ton of stuff. I want to let you guys know what's going on with that and what's coming out. So that's it. God bless. Stay strong. See, I told you my allergies drive me crazy.